Hello, everyone. Welcome to Determining Your Goal. This is the second lesson in the Running with the Mind 10K training with mindful running coach Marty Kibalowski. So, Marty, my first question is, what sort of goal do you recommend people choose? Is it something personal or something that they should be doing?
Well, it's interesting you use that word should. uh, Whenever I hear myself say the word should, and either out loud or inside, that's always time to pause, because that's a clue that right away that your goal is based on some sort of external factor, someone else's beliefs for you, right? That you've either incorporated over time, or you've heard from people, or you've learned. So let's don't begin there. What I would recommend that we do in terms of picking a goal is, first of all, we have to think about how much time do I have to dedicate to this goal? Can I be consistent week in, week out? Or I should say, how often can I be consistent week in, week out with my preparation for this goal? And then how much time am I going to allow myself to prepare for this goal? With those factors in mind, we can range anywhere from kind of a smallish goal all the way to a very large goal, because if we have the time in terms of amount of time consistently, and if we were able to consistently improve ourselves over that period of time, you really can do just about anything. So it's really just it comes down to those factors. And then a piece of that is we need to stay motivated towards our goal, meaning that we want to continue to do it week in, week out. And a big factor there, as we talked about before, is trying to make it fun, and also to remind ourselves of why we're doing it, and really examine if what we're doing is a joyful experience or not so joyful experience. And if not joyful, what's going on? Why is it not? And then we can examine what's happening there to make some course corrections to stay on track for the goal.
I think a lot of people will want to use this program on their own and kind of use the information that you're giving them to do their own training program. If someone wants some support, they can email me at josh@runningmind.org, and I can put them in touch with you for some one-on-one coaching that might be helpful if you're having trouble doing the self-reflection and figuring out what is a goal that's meaningful to me and what's a goal that might be realistic for me. But do you have any techniques that you might suggest for those folks that are trying to do this on their own, for coming up with that next goal of, I want to train for something, but I don't know what the right thing is, or maybe even what should my mindfulness goals be? That can be a very nebulous realm for people that are new to meditation and mindfulness.
Good point. So maybe we should take a look at what do we mean when we say mindfulness as a starting point. And for me, what mindfulness is about paying attention, being aware of things that are happening, really being aware of the mind and how it's working and what's really going on. And one of the benefits of meditation is to sit down and just observe what happens next once you're quiet and sitting there. And one of the first things you'll observe is a lot of thoughts. They seem to come out of nowhere. And that's sometimes referred to as monkey mind, because it's just like a monkey running around in a treetop from branch to branch. It just seems somewhat unrelated possibly to where things have been and where you're going. It's just this flood of thoughts. So when we talk about mindfulness, it's really just stopping to pay attention to what's really going on. And part of the training there is, I think, a meditation practice where we get better and better at observing. And when you observe, you're not really changing anything. There's nothing to be done. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing right. It's just observational. It's just clearly just observing without any sort of judgment, and just trying to see what's happening, maybe for the first time in your life, because it's the first time you've actually stopped and just really take a look. And when you get better and better at that, then you have the opportunity to apply that to your daily life and what's going on for you, in this case, with your running goals. So the first thing I would start with is what is it that I would like to do? Maybe you've heard from a friend or you have some thought planted in there that if I'm going to train for something, this is what I'd like to train for. And whatever that is, it's perfectly fine. It could be, I want to be able to run 1 mile without stopping. I want to be able to run a 5K. And that might be a second goal for someone who wants to run 1 mile without stopping. Maybe I want to be able to run a half a mile without stopping, all the way up to a 10K, a half marathon, or a marathon. And the difference between setting these goals and achieving them is how much time do you have? I'm talking about length of time, like number of months that you feel you could dedicate to this goal. The longer you take, the more likelihood you're going to have success, because you're going to avoid things like injury and illness and overtraining and burnout and all the factors that would keep us from hitting our goal. So if you're not really sure, I would start with something small and build on it from there. Or you might decide after I've started with something small that that's fine, and I don't need anything bigger. The tendency that we have, especially in Western culture, is to set ourselves on a goal, and then when we accomplish that one, to try to build on that to something bigger, better. And the problem with that is there's no end to that. So it's important to really, I think, at each and every turn, to look at the goal that you've set. And if you've accomplished it, then maybe that's plenty, and that's fine. And there, you don't have to do anything more. You don't have to go faster. You don't have to go farther. You can just do that. So I think it just depends on the individual. But back to mindfulness, is you want to take a close look at why is it important to us, if it is, to build on our goal and to continue to do more and more. Because if it's really trying to get external affirmation or some form of that, because we're lacking on the inside for some reason, it's really important to take a look at what's the source of that lack, and can I do something about that? Because that will rule your life. It runs in the background. There's a famous psychologist, Carl Jung, that said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it dictates your actions, and you call it fate. So we have a lot running in the background from our childhood, from our growing up, from all the life experiences we have, that are trying to tell us what we should do, or what would be good, or what makes us special. Let's take a close look at those things and maybe put those aside and say, what would be a joyful experience for me? What would be just fun to do? No matter what people think about it. What do I think about it? And if I'm happy with it, then I'm happy with it. And let's leave it at that.
Love it. Great. Well, thanks everybody for watching this lesson on determining your goals. The next lesson will be figuring out, it's called Determine Your Schedule. So we'll help you figure out a training schedule that will work for your goal. Thanks, Marty.
Thank you.